All right. Hi everyone, and welcome to today's live stream. My name is Hayodele, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And on the channel, we talk about tech, we talk about um, anything related to my career, supporting people and educating people. And also once in a while, I talk about my life as well. But I don't think I've done that in a while. So today we'll be having a live session with Jamin, and we're talking about Bombing 101. So it will also talk about why we started calling it Bombing 101, or why we call it bombing, and why it is not job hunting. So he will introduce himself, and also he will also talk about why we call it bombing, and then he will take the full session, right? So once again, my name is Ayodele, and welcome to my channel where we talk about IT, anything related to web development, career growth, at the same time about my life in tech. But today we're talking about bombing, which is job hunting. So please use the chat wherever you are watching from, either you're watching through Facebook or you're watching through YouTube. Use the chat section to drop your question, either for the speaker or um, showcase yourself. Use the chat and we'll put it live. And yes, so let's roll in. Hi, Jamie, and welcome to the session today. So let's have you.
Hi, Liam. Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Yeah,
I
very
believe you
well.
can hear me clearly.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, that's good. How's it going?
Yeah, very well. How about you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm great. So, um, am I supposed to start now?
Yes, you start with
Okay.
introducing yourself to us and what you do, and then we get into it.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Let's do that. So, hi everyone. Wherever you're listening from, my name is Jamin. I work as a developer advocate and a technical writer. So, I help developers learn how to use cool tools and things like that. And yeah, I'm currently in Nigeria, and mm, I sort of enjoy bombing. So I will also explain why I call it bombing and why I don't call it job hunting. But today we'll be talking about like bombing and all that. So now that you know a little bit about me, I think I have a slide. Thankfully, my slide does not have like anything about me. So let's just get into it. So this session is ideally this session is ideally going to be in two ways. So there's a slide where I get to talk about, oh, this is what it means, this is what is happening, this is what bombing means, this is how you can do it better. And then I'll also show you like a reward example right away. So we will sort of like look for a job on this call and apply for it. So we'll use that to sort of like apply the things we've learned or the things I've said and things like that. And um, make it make sense in the real world. So you can also find me on any social media with the username at code jagaban. So that's my username on all social media. If you can't find me there, then it means I don't exist there. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. I think I have to share my screen. I have a slide to share, and let me try to share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can see the screen.
Okay. I'm supposed to be able to hide this thing, but it's not hiding. So whatever, share it like that. So let's go. Bombay 101. So we're going to talk about the basics, but then there's one thing I always say whenever I want to like bomb is that what do you do when Sapa Shoket Down? The answer is you bomb. So basically, it's a it's a slang I came up with, but the English meaning I think this is from those old King James kind of English, but the meaning is what do you do when you're broke, or what do you do when Sapa wants to kill you? The answer is that you bomb. So bombing is what gets you out of Sapa mood or gets you a good job or gets you that gig that you're looking for. So today we're going to be talking about bombing and what it is. So the first thing we need to clear off the way is what is bombing, because if you to a lot of people, bombing is a new word. To some others, it's not a new word. It's a regular phrase that they use. Hold on, let me try to remove this. Oh, it's not there. So we're going to talk about bombing, and I have a very simple definition for bombing, a grammatical one that it modifies. It gives you the English version. Although this is a very pidgin slang, the slang that was derived from pidgin and also from a lot of distance. So I would say bombing, this is the English I came up with. Bombing is a relentless act of searching for clients, jobs, and gigs that can change your life, and you are not giving up until you get a yes from at least one person. So it's actually, in other words, bombing is the act of looking for that job or looking for that gig, looking for that contract that is going to change your life, but not just looking for it in one place, but searching for it everywhere. Doesn't matter what platform you're using, doesn't matter the approach you're taking, doesn't matter how you're trying to bump the person, but relentlessly putting that effort to make sure that, oh, you're searching for a greener pasture, you're searching for something that would actually change your life, that job that will change your life, that gig that will like increase your pay, that money that is going to like change everything for you. So I think the word bombing usually it's a Nigerian slang when a lot of people use it a lot. The people that use it the most, I think, well, I won't talk about that. But then this is the English definition for me of what bombing feels like. So when I'm looking for a job or when I'm looking for something, when I'm looking for something that can change my life, I'll say I want to bomb. So and I'm going to do that relentlessly until I make sure I get at least a yes from somebody. So now that we understand bombing out of the way, let's talk about how do you apply for jobs? How do you um, try to look for jobs in the right way that, oh, you should get a yes from a company? So the funny thing about the tech space is it's quite frustrating because of the way the job patterns are. So while the tech space pays you very well, getting a job is very difficult irrespective of the level you are. So getting a job is one of the most difficult thing you ever encounter in the tech space. Even if you're a senior, mid-level, it's worse when you're a beginner. So how do you make sure that you're putting yourself out there? How do you make sure that you're talking to companies that will give you a response and things like that? So let's talk about why you should bomb first. So the first thing why you should bomb is it can actually change your life. You only need one offer from a company to go from a zero that you are to like a pro. So take for example, you get an offer from a company that pays you $10,000 or $5,000 per month, and you were only earning $100 per month, or you're only earning 100k naira as your salary. That gig can change your life. It will drastically change the way you think, the way you move, the way you act, the way you live your life. It will change everything about you. Don't let anybody tell you that money will not change. Money will change you like mad. So that's one important reason, and another reason is that nobody knows what you do until you tell them or you show them. So companies might be looking for your skill set, companies might be looking for what you're good at, they might have that need for you to fill in a role for them, but they don't know you. They've not seen you before, they've not heard of you. You maybe are not active on social media, you don't post your content often, you don't post the things you do often. They won't know how to approach you. They wouldn't even know you exist. They will go and look for somebody that is able to tell them what they do. So if you are not bombing, you won't be able to tell companies what you do. And then the last part is, well, if you are not bombing, Safa will choke you. Sapa go choke you. So I sort of like feel like everybody should bomb. If you're trying to look for that life changing gig or that opportunities, you should be bombing. Bomb with your life. Bomb like your life depends on it, because it actually does. Because just one gig can change everything about you. It can change the trajectory of your future. So you need to be to face it head on and face it consistently. That, oh, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. So now that we've understand what is bombing, why you should bomb, let's move on to the next part, and it's going to be like, oh, before you start bombing. So this talk is more like about applying for jobs, how you can apply to jobs that you're looking for. It's not about how you can prepare your resume, so that's a very entirely different topic as well. So I think there are other videos and there are other talks out there that covers how to like uh how to fix your resume, even using LLMs like ChatGPT and all that. I think if you check out Mofonobong's channel, Mofonobong Modia's channel, she has a video like that or something like that. But this is not for that. So this is like prerequisite before you start bombing, before you start going there to apply for a job for a company, before you start going to pitch yourself to a company that, oh, this is what I can do. What should you have in stock? What should you be ready to do? So the first thing you need to do is you need to have an ATS compatible resume. So this is more like a resume that this resume can go through any automated system, and when they scan it, they should be able to highlight your strengths and your weaknesses based on your previous experience and things like that. And then you also need to make sure that your impacts are well highlighted. You are quantifying your impacts. You are measuring your impacts by metrics. So you improve XYZ thing that generated XYZ revenue by 30% by this for the company. Have those kind of metrics on your resume such so that it will convince to convince the HR or whoever is viewing your resume that, oh, you're somebody who adds value to a team or to a company when you're hired. So you're not just there to fill a role, but instead you're going there to strive to help increase the impact or to sort of like have create solid impacts for them. So also prepare your mind that whichever job that you're applying to, prepare your mind that, oh, this might be the job that will change everything about me. So give it your all. Don't apply for that job half baked, because you do not actually know if this is the one that they will get back to you positively or if it's not. So when you apply half baked for a role that they were supposed to give to you, then it basically means you miss it. And then there was one thing I was supposed to add. Yeah, I can't find it, but we'll come back. We'll come back to that as well. So and then again, I don't know the God yourself, but before you start to apply, I'm not spiritualistic, but it will I feel it helps. So pray to the God you serve, whichever God you serve. I don't care. Just we commit this bombing into your hands. Please touch the mind of whoever is going to review my resume and all that, so they can do it in a positive way to make sure that this thing. But then I strongly believe that God does not bless empty work. So you have to give God something to bless. So before you even start praying, have something that God should bless. Have a very solid resume that God should bless. And then when working on your resume, I think I've remembered, when working on your resume, you should understand that the average HRO, the average HRO person is, one, not a technical person. If you're applying for a technical job, is one, not a technical person. Two, spends a minimum or a maximum of 7 seconds trying to scan your resumes with their eye to know if you're a good fit or not. So when scanning your resume, the things they look for is your experience and also the impacts you've made. They will just scan through those things and just, okay, this looks good. Let's proceed to the next stage with this one. And then they'll come back again to read through it. So put that in mind when trying to format your resume or to make your resume look good, or to make sure that, oh, your resume is as attractive as possible. Try to make your resume like a 1 or 2 page if you're a beginner or somebody that has fairly good amount of experience. Don't go there with a 3 page or 5 page resume when you're not a principal engineer or somebody that has solid long experience. So now that we understand the prerequisites before you start bombing, so let's move on to what happens that, uh how can you bump? Where should you bump? Now there's a song they usually sing, where you did bump Afghanistan, la 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 la. Oh, I hope YouTube doesn't mark this as this thing. So the question is, where do you bump? Where do you look for jobs? There are various job searching platforms that most of them are craps actually. They post fake jobs, just post nonsense. And so the question boils down to, where do you look for these jobs? Where when they see this job? Where when they bump? You people should show me where people are bumping. So how do you sort of like look for these platforms that, oh, you sort of look for jobs on this? If you should ask me to answer this question personally, I sort of feel like I search for jobs in the weirdest way anybody can think about. I might just be doing something on a website on something. The next thing, I'm checking their careers page if they are hiring. That is how I come across most roles. But then if you are intentionally looking for a job, if you want to look for a job, remember, looking for a job is a full-time job on its own. So you have to dedicate the time and effort and look for the platforms that are that has this job and you're doing that. So we will actually look for job on this talk. After going all through all this slide, we will look for job ourselves here. So I have my resume where somewhere on my laptop, and we'll pick that up. We'll look for a job that was posted. We'll apply for it. We'll package everything, and then you see how it works. So let's talk about the where you should look for jobs. So there's LinkedIn. LinkedIn is number one. LinkedIn is sometimes underestimate LinkedIn, but LinkedIn has a lot of good job opportunities that I've come across, and I've declined some, I've accepted some, but a lot of them are good. So LinkedIn is there, and then job search platforms. There are so many job search platforms. There's Alta, there's Workable, there's this thing. There are various ones, so that's why I just write job search platform. So if we say we should list them a lot, it's quite hard. So those are just there, and there's Google search as well. There's Indeed. There's ATS platform like Liver, and I think there's Liver.co. There are other ATS platform. We'll also show this later on during the talk. And then there are company correlation list, which I call them, but what they actually mean is these are companies that sort of like gives you a profile of a company, the revenue they're generating, how much they've raised, and all that, and things like that. Those platforms are a very good way of looking for jobs, because one, you see the how much revenue this company is generating, how much they've raised, how they are doing well, how they will like. If you see a company that is actually generating a decent revenue, chances are if they hire you, you're going to enjoy it very well. You're going to be very productive at the work you do. So that's a very nice platform as well. And then for developers and also technical people, GitHub is a very nice platform. You'll be surprised at what you can do with GitHub as well. So you can get jobs on GitHub. There are some lists on GitHubs that you can use for getting jobs, and also there are some repositories that you can just check out the company owning those repositories if they are hiring, and then do that. So open source is another way, but it's not like a platform to bump. So, and then and virtually anywhere you see a potential for bombing, anywhere you see a potential that, oh, there is a job, there might be a job opening here, I'll show you how to have that mentality. So there are various places where you might not expect. Even Twitter self, you can look for jobs on Twitter. As long as you see a potential that, oh, this looks like they might be hiring, check it out. If you see that they're hiring, shoot your shot. It doesn't matter whether they are hiring or not. Just shoot your shot. If they are hiring, fine, they will give you a response. The worst thing that can happen is they'll say no. But the best thing that can happen is they'll say yes. And remember, you need only one yes, even if you get 1,000 no. So these are just some of the platforms that you can use for applying for jobs, and also for bombing as well. So let's move on to the next part. So let's talk about some things you should consider while bombing. And one, if you give up, now you fuck up. Oh. I should. Whoa, hold on.
Sorry about break in transmission. So let's use that word. So sorry about the break in transmission. So this is an experience that you kind of experience, but I pray that you don't experience this during a job interview. Many people have shared their experiences when they are applying to a job, and during the interview process, then the power holding company of our country just showed you that don't forget that you are in this country. So they just um, took off the power, right? They interrupt the power supply. But that shouldn't stop you from going global, right? Okay, so welcome back.
Hi guys, sorry about that. We're in Nigeria, so they just took out the power, and I had to like spring something else. Wow, Nigeria has happened to me again. Okay, so let's move forward. So if you the first tip I want to tell you is that if you give up, now you mess up. Actually, that's the pigeon slang for it. So the bottom line is don't give up. Now there's two things that can happen. Searching for a job is very exhaustive. So sometimes there's a high chance that you might be searching for jobs and you're tired. You tried first month, 2 months, 3 months, and you're tired. You just be like, oh, I don't tire. So at that point, it's okay to be tired. Rest if you must. Take some time, leave the job session zone, try to do something, go and touch grass, do something else, something that should just like take your mind off it. Rest if you must, but don't give up. After you finish resting, come back to come and search for this job, because if you don't search for it, you're not going to get it. So that's the first tip I'm going to tell you. So rest if you must, but don't give up, because now you mess up. So bomb strategically. So bomb strategically is more like is a huge tip. We should break that down in terms of like so there are certain regions that you should be looking for a job. It depends. You can look for a region everywhere. So if you're looking for 100% remote, whatever, it's fine. So what I mean by bomb strategically is have a set of requirements that you require from a company that you like to work with, or from a company that you want them to employ you. How? For example, if I'm looking for a remote job today, these are the things that I'll be looking out for myself when applying for a job. One, it should be 100% remote because I can't go to the office. Two, they shouldn't care about my nationality or anything like that. So that has using that is something I would focus on. Three, I want to work for a technical role, so the role should correctly align with my skill set and should be able to give me that. Five, sorry, four. Four should be that I am comfortable with speaking to anybody. So irrespective of if the person is in the US, in the UK, in Europe, wherever they are, I'm comfortable with speaking with that person. So I would apply to any jobs from any region that fits into that need. Five is that they has to be within the same time zone as I am. So I'm currently in the GMT plus one time zone. So anything from GMT 0 to GMT plus 3, it works fine for me. So I have to like those are the things I will consider. I've just mentioned five factors that I have to consider. So using these factors, I will then start strategically applying for jobs. So if I should consider those five factors, it basically means that one, I want to apply to jobs in the US because they are in a very different time zone from where I am, and that would mean that it's an automatically disqualification from me instead of them even disqualifying me. So I would consider that and also use that as something. So combining strategies like this will help you to sort of like tailor down your job search and to look for companies that would really want to hire you and would really want to work with you. So the third one is have a resume tailored for each role that you're applying for. Don't have a resume that is the same resume that you're using to apply for a community manager, you're using to apply for a technical writer, you're using to apply for software engineering. Can you guys? Hi, Liam. Can you hear a sound from my background?
Oh, I think the background sound is coming from my side.
Oh, okay, okay. So have a resume that is tailored for each role that you're applying for. So what that means is, oh, if you're applying for a technical writing role, your resume should be tailored to be a technical writer who is writing articles, not somebody who is a community manager and then you want to write. You are coming to apply to me as a technical writer. Yes, it's possible that you have like some community management experience, but do not highlight those over your technical writing experience. I like your technical writing experience more than your community management experience, and make sure that the resume is specifically answering the question that they are looking for a technical writer and it should fit into that need. So the other one is apply only to recent jobs. So I sort of discovered that this is a strategy. You can apply to old jobs though, no problem. It will work. But then what I discovered is that whenever I'm applying to jobs and I apply only to recent jobs, for example, jobs that were posted within the past 24 hours or 48 hours, I get positive response more. The reason is because why? Because the HRO posted that job within the past 24 to 48 hours is actually looking for somebody who is going to fill that role right away. So the reason I said apply for recent jobs, it will give you that edge to quickly talk to the HRO or talk to whoever is in charge, because they actually need somebody to fill that role. So stop applying to jobs that were posted 6 months ago, 3 months ago, and expecting them to give you a feedback instantly. So the I think, is this the last one? No. So have a story to tell. Another tip is have a story to tell. How you should always have a story about your journey whenever you're asked, oh, so tell me more about yourself. So that question, tell me more about yourself, is actually somebody just asking you to not don't tell me your life story. Oh, tell me more about, like, oh, what you've done in the past and how it has brought you here. So what impacts have you made previously in various projects you've worked on, and how it has brought you here and you feel like you want to make an impact here. That is the story you should have to tell. Always have a story to tell wherever you're applying or wherever you're talking to somebody in charge of hiring you, because people believe in story. People want to hear your story, and that is what inspires them to, like, feel like, oh, you're the right fit for the job or not. And then align yourself with values, with the company values when necessary. So I'll give you an example of this. For example, imagine you're hiring, you're trying to apply for a company that is big on open source, and you've done open source before. You've done a couple of contributions before, and they are not part of your resume. And you can see that the company has this value that, oh, they contribute a lot to open source. Majority of their tools are open source tools, which they support and they maintain and they keep going for the community. Now, if you would want to apply to a job like that, a very good way for you to align yourself with the company's values is to highlight your open source contributions and let them know that you're a fan of open source as well. You've contributed to open source previously, you usually do that at your free time, and you've made XYZ. It doesn't matter, you don't have to measure the impact, but let them know that, oh, you're someone who is grounded not just in technical skills, but also in contributing to company values like open source and things like that. So there's a high chance that the company is going to pick you that has that open source experience over somebody who has not contributed to open source before, but is also skilled as well. So in all you do, align yourself with the company values where necessary in various ways. Open source is just one of them. There are various ways. What you have to do is, when applying for the job, go through the requirements and understand what they are looking for, and align yourself with the things that they are looking for. So some other tips you should consider with the rise of AI and everything and things like that. One thing you can do to help you apply for jobs is use LLMs for structuring and rewarding your resume better. So if you have a resume, you can, do prompting. I think Liam and Mofonobong made a YouTube video about, like, prompting for better resume or something like that. So you can prompt LLMs like ChatGPT on, oh, I'm a senior technical writer for XYZ company, and I want to, like, um apply for jobs. This is my resume. What do you think I can improve, or what do you think can be structured better? Those prompts can help you do that. And then one cool thing you can actually do is get the job requirements from the platform you're applying for, and then ask ChatGPT that, oh, these are the job requirements. This is my resume. How do you think I both align for this, and how can I align myself better? Using this kind of prompts to sort of, like, help you to like, align yourself better, and also be able to, like, um, have a tailored resume that will fit into the specific role that you're applying for. So um, with all of this said and done, we will go back to what's it called? Let's sort of, like, apply some of these tips and apply everything in terms of, like, applying for a job. So I will move from sharing a slide, and I would want to look for a job. I want us to look for a job right now. So I think I have my resume somewhere in my laptop. So let's go back. Okay, so this is my resume. This is a technical writer resume and things like that. So this is a technical writer resume from that has, like, a software development background. This is me. I think this was the resume I used to get the job at the current company I work for. So this is my resume. We're going to use this to look for a job, and we're going to look for a job as a technical writer for various companies. Now, a few things you should know when looking for a job as a technical writer. One, you're looking for a company that is developer focused, because that is where they have technical writing. Sometimes it's not developer focused though, but mostly it's developer focused. And also, we're also looking for a job that is recent. So we're looking for a job that is GMT plus one. So this is me bringing out my requirements now. So We're looking for a job that is GMT plus one, so it's most likely should be within the EMEA region, Europe and Africa within that region, and then that means I'm not going to the US. I'm only going to stick to EMEA parts, and then I want to make sure that these are jobs that were posted very recently, and they should be able to get back to me perhaps within the past week. Since this is weekend, they should get back to me as fast as possible. So the first platform I want to try is, let's try LinkedIn first. So let's go to LinkedIn, and we will go to silly, I'm posting. So we'll go to the jobs panel on LinkedIn, and let's try to look for this thing. So I can see that Canonical is hiring for technical author. This is a very nice role, actually. So let's see what they have. Technical author, multiple roles, seniority levels, blah 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 blah. This is good. This is good. This is a very solid role, and I know Canonical is like the company behind Linux, Linux, Ubuntu, and all that. So they are very big on open source. They are quite good. But the problem with this is this was posted like 6 months ago, and over 100 people has applied for it. So if I'm applying for this job, I'm definitely wasting my time out and wasting my effort. Nobody's going to get back to me. There's a high chance that this role has been filled already. 6 months ago was like last year. So what am I still doing there? So what I want to do is I want to search for technical writer. So the region should be EMEA. This is where things start getting interesting. Now, as I change to EMEA and search for technical writer, you can see that there's a role here that is saying senior technical writer, developer experience. Is looking for is by Squarespace. So this is a role. It was posted like a week ago. This is quite good. You can still apply for something like this. It's posted like a week ago, so there's a high chance that this has not been like filled yet. So if you check the careers page and do that, yeah, you see 5 years as a technical writer or developer audience. You work as a peer to software engineers. You have engineering experience, playtime, blah blah blah, and all that. So this is actually a good role that I can apply for. This is good, but this was posted like a week ago. So the chances of them getting back to me has reduced. So what I want to do is I want to post that like I want to filter by the past week and show only jobs that were posted in the past week. Now this is another one that this was reposted a day ago. So this basically means that they're still looking for the person to fill this. So this is one, and then this was posted. This is where we start getting interesting offers. So now that we filtered by a week ago, well, I'm not saying that a job was posted 1 day ago and it has only 18 applicants. So this is a very good fit, although they look like they're not speaking English though. So this is supposed to be a very good fit, but it looks like they're not. It's not an English speaking country, so I'm not interested in working for people who don't speak English. So we'll skip that. So then again, we'll go back again and I look for another one. This was posted 2 days ago with 22 applicants. So this basically means that there's a high chance of my resume getting to the HRO for them to review it, because we have very few applicants here and the competition is low, I would say here. So minimum of 3 years, provide sample of your work, proof of efficiency in English. My English is not bad. I'm doing well with English. So now there's one thing you should know, that this is a very good role because one, this company is based in Spain and they are looking for an English focused company. I should give you one trick if you're in a country like Nigeria that speaks English a lot. So the thing is, for companies like this that they are non-native English companies, the reason why they are putting it on their requirement that proficiency in English language is a must is that there's a high chance that in the company, not everyone is good with English. So you coming with a very high proficiency in English is a plus for you to work with them. They will be very happy to have you because your English is clear. One, you can articulate things better, you can communicate better, you can help them write whatever that they are writing in a better way. So they will always prioritize you over somebody who is not an English speaker in this case. So these are some of the things that you should like put into consideration when kind of like applying for a job. So This if I was to apply for this, this was posted 2 days ago. This would have been a very good role to apply for. So this is just like some of the ways you can search for jobs on LinkedIn. So filter it by the day. You can also filter by experience, but mostly filter by the day. So let's move on to something else again. And I want to show you like a different approach to like searching for jobs. So this is just LinkedIn. Let's try to use those company coalition platforms. So um, I don't know. Give me a company, one company, one company, one company. You guys should give me a company that Leon, please give me a company that is generating revenue or something, or a company that you know. Doesn't have to be generating revenue. Just a company that you know. Hello, Liam, stay on this call. Okay,
Oh,
so
I took
let's.
myself off the stage. Okay, so can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so what if we try maybe ADN or let's say Stripe?
Okay, so Stripe is actually a big company though, but I don't think a Stripe gone public yet.
I
I'm
think
not
so.
sure. Okay, they've not. They've not. They're still like they're still doing 1 point something trillion, but they've not gone public yet. So now, let's use Stripe for example. I want to look for jobs at Stripe. Yes, I can go to the careers page, but there's something else I want to show you that is different. It's not tied to the careers page of any company. So one way is to go to the careers page of the company to look for if they are hiring. If they're hiring and you apply, you are a good fit for the role. They'll get back to you. Actually, it's it's more like it's funny how people sort of like cut themselves short when trying to apply for jobs. So I think you can go to the jobs page, company jobs. That is one way, and see open roles. See open roles. I'm looking for a technical writer role or a software engineering role, especially front end, since that is what I have on my resume. But um, so let me search for technical writer. Should be remote. Technical writer. Oh, they don't have anything here. And let me see if they have writer. Hmm. They have advocate. No, no role. Okay, so Stripe is not hiring for any of the roles that I'm looking for. No problem.
Okay,
So
what
I'll
if we
leave
try Flutter Flow?
Flutter Flow.
Yes,
Hmm.
they
Okay.
have a technical writer job.
Hmm. Flutter. Okay, we'll come back to Flutter Flow, but what will happen is I just want to show a different way. So now this is Stripe's careers page. We've tried to use Stripe's careers page, and yeah, there was no role here. So what will happen in this case is that the moment I see that Stripe is no longer hiring, I'll start guessing for companies that are hiring. Is it correct? Yeah. So, but if we should go back to our search query that we made, we sort of like looked for Stripe revenue, and there were some results. Like for example, there's backlink to that showed like Stripe's revenue. There's also this Get Laka, which is one, and then there's other ones as well. Not from Stripe. I'm looking for something else. There are other people as well. It should be other people. There should be other people. There's global data, but there used to be someone else. But I'll show you that as well. So backlink to yeah, no, this is not one of them. So I'll close this. Get Laka is also not one of them. These are just news blog. Okay. So I'll close all of this. So I don't think Stripe is a good company as an example for this. So I'll use a company called Direct. This is more like a headless CMS company. So what I want to do is I just want to search for the revenue. So ideally, when searching for companies, I like to work with small companies. The reason is because that the decision making is very quick and better. Although maybe I should start looking at big companies, but I've always preferred small companies like startups and all that. So I've searched for directors revenue, and I can see that the director's blog is there. I can see Crunch Yeah, Crunchbase is a very good platform. I can see PitchBook. I'll open PitchBook as well. Dojo platform. What they are doing is they sort of like give you an analysis of the company, things they do, money they've raised, their ranking, and all that. But the cool part is they will also give you competitions of that company that might be hiring. So that is where you get to search. That is where you get to look for jobs from them and things like that. So, for example, PitchBook says, "Oh, Directors was founded in 2019. It's a private company. They have 39 employees. They raised 7 million. Blah 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 blah. This is their website, so I can go to their website and check if they're hiring. It's not bad. It's good. Things like that, analysis, and things like that. So this gives me like a full idea about what they do uh, and everything about directors. So I can also go back and sort of like search for their profile. But we'll come back to this platform. Let's go to someone else. Let's go to somewhere like Crunchbase. So Crunchbase will give you the same something like that for you to record to see the growth status of the company, how much you've raised, the revenue they're making, and things like that. So while searching for it, you see like there's a CBA ranking, there's a growth score, there's a hit score. Those things like that are also just like sort of like analysis of um, directors as well. Yes, but then we will then look for competitions. This is supposed to be here, so let's scroll down, scroll back. So we will then look for competitions or people that or companies that are doing exactly the same way that is doing the same thing that directors is doing or something related. You can see that there's a tag here that says database developer API software. So if I should click on developer APIs because I'm looking for technical writing role, this will open a lot of companies here. Now we've now come to this part where we can see that there's a lot of companies here. Now this is supposed to be like a tool for those that are looking for not those that are looking for job search actually, but those that are sort of looking for companies to invest with. It's supposed to be a tool for investors, but um, you can also still use this tool as something. So there's Solo, there's Stock Arc, there's Kong. Now I can check out these companies and open them in a new tab to see if any one of them is related to anything developer API and has like a hiring slot or if they are generating revenue and things like that. So I can search this, I can check this one out. The life insurance SaaS that utilizes blah blah blah. This is in the US, so I'm not applying to US jobs. So this is US as well. This is US as well. Close this. Okay, I think it's because directors is in the US. That is why they're giving me sort of like US jobs. So um, you can also filter by the location and things like that. And so Crunchbase is one of those platforms. This Gojo. Oh, is it because I'm using a VPN? Security block online. Okay. So Grojo is more like a platform. Maybe I should turn off my VPN or something. So, strange. Grojo.com. Wow. Okay, I'm unable to access Grojo. Why? Okay, no problem. So we'll go back. Let's look for another revenue generating revenue company, revenue lead platform like that. Grojo used to be a good one. I don't know why they are blocking me. Maybe it's because of my IP or something. Okay, so this is another one that has still same directors. We're just still looking at this thing. So like this lead IQ then would suggest like other companies that are doing the same thing as directors. Now we can see that Storyblock is in the same place as directors. There's Strap AI, there's Sanity, there's Squarespace, there's Craft CMS. Storyblock is making 10 to 50 million dollars in revenue monthly, annually. Strap AI, something like that. Wix is making $1 billion. So these are companies that you're seeing that they are generating revenue. So definitely, if they should hire you, so you can just check out these companies, Sanity as well. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to open all of them in a new tab to see if they are hiring. So they're making good money. they've raised 80K. So I'll just search for story to go to their careers page. So Storyblock, I'm a technical writer. I'm looking for a technical writing role. So straight up to their careers page, they're hiring. They have 10 open roles. So let's check this. Open roles. Let's see what's open. VP, blah blah blah. So you can see that they have two roles that are open. For me, remember I said I'm looking for a technical writer role, but at the same time, I'm also looking for an engineering role since I have engineering experience and I should be able to do the job as well. Now you can see that they are looking for a senior front end engineer, remote Europe. This is a good role for me. Why? One, because the time zone is closely related to mine. They're in GMT plus one or minus one, or GMT plus two, or anything like that. Remote Europe, the senior role is remote. I will enjoy it. Front end engineer two as well is also remote in Germany. But if I let's click on the senior front end engineer and see what it has. What's the need for you? Home office, remote. So this is 100% remote. As a fully remote company, work-life balance is assured, and an international team that loves you, blah blah blah. So it's basically sort of like what I'm looking for, and this has like all the remote perks and everything. And since they are 100% remote, it basically means that they won't ask me where I'm from or things like that, or if my location is an issue. And then at least now have a look at this that they require at least 5 years of relevant experience as a front end engineer, which I have. And then all the sets that they require, it's in line with the things I've done before, and I can create a front end resume that is tailored to this and apply for this. And I'm definitely sure I'm going to get a response later, a response from them. Now, the chance of them responding to me, it's not high, it's not low, because I went through their careers page. I'm not sure if they are still hiring. So I'm applying with the faith that they'll get back to me. But mostly when a company like this still have like jobs on their careers page, definitely means that they are still looking for somebody to fill that role and they are still searching. So let's go to StrapPI as well. We'll search for StrapPI since StrapPI has like a 10 to 50 million revenue. We'll also check if they're hiring as well. Now we're looking for just two jobs. We're looking for either a technical writer or a either job as a technical writer or as a front end engineer. So whichever one we get, we're fine with that. I don't know what's wrong with my network. This thing is not loading. Okay, the same. We'll do the same thing for Sanity as well. I think Sanity is a company based in Australia, so that's like in Europe as well. So we will sort of like search for it. Or Sanity CMS. Sanity CMS. I'll scroll down, look for hiring. So they're hiring. They have careers 13 pages, 13 new roles hiring. Strapia is still loading. So that's definitely not my network. That's Strapia's website itself. Okay, so here, and I can see that they have a couple of roles here. I don't know if they have technical writing or they have engineering. So they have software engineer backend, which is not what I'm looking for. They have data engineer. So none of this role aligns with what I'm looking for. So it's fine. It's good. It happens. So we can just like sort of quit this because they don't align with what we're looking for. And then we can also search for craft CMS. So these are just some of the ways of using platforms like this to sort of like search for companies that you want to apply for. So when you search like this, you'll be able to get these jobs and also to get like companies that are hiring. So another tricky way that you can use, I'll close all of this because these are just examples. So another tricky way that you could use is that we will use a platform like Lever. So Lever is an ATS platform. It's an ATS platform that you can that companies use for their job recruitment process. Now the trick about Lever is that a lot of the jobs that are posted on Liver where that companies are using, they are sort of SEO friendly, such that you can search for them on search engine and they will pop up. So, for example, still looking for a technical writer, I will to search for this kind of jobs. I'll go to Google, and what I'll write is very simple. I'll write the website URL that I'm looking for. So liver.co, and I want to pick a keyword specifically from it, and I will say technical writer. Now you see that there are various companies here that are using liver.co as a technical writing this thing, and you can see that all their job uh, posts are all popping up as a technical writer. So this is not something that, oh, if you search for it generally you see, but as long as I'm querying for the platform itself and I'm trying to look for a technical writer from there, I'm getting those roles and getting things like that. So if I should check this one, London full time, this is hybrid. So I'm not interested in hybrid. I can close this. If they are doing remote, it's fine, but this is a very good like role and experience. They're looking for 3 years of experience, which I have. And but I'll close this since it's not 100% remote. This is full time on site, and this is senior technical writer full time remote. So you can also make this further, and you can add remote to the to the key search to make sure that, oh, you're only looking specifically for remote jobs and things like that. So this one is a full time remote, United Kingdom, Kong, blah blah blah. I can apply for this because what I'm bringing: curiosity, empathy, willingness to try new things. I like to try new things. 4 years experience writing concise material for developers and enterprise. Yeah. So the thing about experience is, for companies that are looking for, for example, companies that are looking for technical writers like this, you might not have that 4 years of experience in writing technical articles, but the fact that you have a very solid background in engineering and you've been a developer in the past and you've built products before, it will give them the conviction that even though you've been writing technical articles for the past 1 or 2 years, you know what you're doing and you have that experience that will help them to ship more technical content faster. So this is an easy way to apply for this job. So I can click on this since this is a fully remote, and I'll apply. And there's a high chance that they will get back to me and things like that. So these some of these jobs are not posted on what's it called? Are not posted on LinkedIn, or they are not posted on somewhere else. They are mostly posted by on the jobs platform using something like this, and then you can just search for it like this and get it up. So these are just some of the ways you can sort of like search for these jobs. And there's one thing you should know when searching for jobs like this. So let's go back to our slides. We're already behind time. So let's go back to our slide. So one thing you should know when searching for jobs like this is you're competing against the rest of the world. So make sure that you're bringing your A game when searching for a job like this. Um, you're not trying to compete with those in Nigeria. You're competing against the rest of the world, Europe, USA, Asia, what the various continents you're competing against them. So try to bring your A game. There's a high chance that there's someone better than you, and for that reason, always try to sell yourself the most. Your resume is where you get to sell yourself the most. Do not humble yourself when selling yourself on your resume. Sell yourself the highest you can ever sell yourself. Sell it there, because nobody's going to hype you if you don't hype yourself. Nobody's going to say, oh, that you're a wonderful person if you don't say it on your resume. So sell yourself the most and do it right there in your resume. And then make sure that, oh, applying for jobs is a game of numbers. There are thousands of companies out there that will hire you, and there are thousands of companies out there that you apply to. In all of the job applications that you're putting through, applications that are going through over and over and over again, you only need one yes. You can get 1,000 no, but you only need one yes to change everything. So keep bombing. There's a quote from Napoleon Hill that is always at the back of my mind when doing all of this, is that victory is always possible for the person who refuses to stop fighting. So if you keep bombing, just keep bombing, you will definitely get a yes sooner or later. So it's mostly a game of numbers. Don't stop because you've applied for 100 jobs. Apply for more. Oh, you did 100, do 200. You did 200, increase it again. So you get some interviews. You get interviews for those roles. You pass them, but make sure that whichever job you're applying to, you're giving it your all. And when you get into the interview, always prepare beforehand before applying to the interview. And there's a very popular quote that says, "Keep bombing, guys. Whatever you are doing, just keep bombing. Even me myself, I'm still bombing till today. Everybody, Liam is bombing. So just keep bombing and definitely wag me. We're going to make it. One, you only remember you only need 1 year, and after that, every other thing will be very smooth. So thank you all for coming. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. And yeah, we can call it a day. So thank you for listening. And that's all. I think I should stop sharing my screen.
Awesome. What a very insightful period of 57 minutes of learning. Thank you so much. And I'm also taking notes of some of these things. Even though these are what we do in our secret place. So, but yes, we are bringing it to the public. And thank you so much for helping us with this. So, guys, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat, and we'll be proud to answer or put justification to all those questions. Um, we are supposed to end this stream by 12, but we could extend to either 12:10 just for us to be able to cover all questions. So I assume that people are actually writing or typing their questions. So while the question is coming, probably we could actually do a one-on-one kind of chat. So, how do you actually undo your introduction during an interview session? Probably, okay, you've been bombing and then you got a, oh yes, we're moving you forward to the next round. So your approach to the interview, how do you undo your introduction? Because I believe introduction is very important in any interview. So how do you kind of undo the introduction aspect of the interview side?
Yeah, so for introduction, I think when somebody asks you to introduce yourself, they don't mean you should tell them your life story or how you were a kid or how you do this thing. So mostly the quick way, the quick way is more like if you should ask me to tell me about yourself in an interview for the first time. So I know you don't know anything about me. Maybe you've seen it on my resume, but you just want to hear it from me. So I'll usually start up with like, oh, my name. This is what I do. For the past few years, I've been a software engineer doing this and that, and I've worked with XYZ company from XYZ regions, from various regions to help build this thing. So it basically means I've worked in various industries such as this and that. So in that introduction, I've explained my name, I've explained the things I've been doing for the past few years. I've sort of like from the very beginning explained the impact I've made over these companies and the areas I've worked at. So before for me working from a company in Germany to working to the company in US, Canada, and also in the UK, it basically means I'm doing something right for me to be working with this company. So um, that summary would sort of like give them an overview of, oh, this person has been an engineer for the past few years and they've worked in various platforms, and that gives them a lot of experience to sort of like know what they are doing. So when they say tell me about yourself, I like to think of that question as more like a very quick career summary of what you've been doing in your whole career, and tell them about it. Not I grew up as a kid in Lokoja. Oh, nobody cares about that, bro. No, nobody wants to even hear where you grew up from. So don't keep that one to yourself. It's not needed. Tell them the impact that what you can do, and most times, yeah, I think that's basically the answer I would give on a tell me about yourself question.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have two questions. So the first one is on the screen. So Bank is asking, how do I present career gaps or transitions in a resume or LinkedIn bio?
So career gaps and transitions. So it depends. It depends on how you're transitioning. Uh, transitioning from one career to another is always a difficult thing. But I think you can. What you can do is you can sort of like you can sort of like during that time when you're transitioning, you were doing something. You were doing something to obscure yourself, or you were doing something to sort of like explain something. You were learning something at that time, or you were making that transition. So you can add that on your resume as something that you were doing. And most likely when a recruiter is trying to hire you, they will ask for that. Like, oh, what happened between XYZ and XYZ? You should be able to explain that for it. Or I've seen most people put it as a career break, but I don't think you should put it as a career break. You can just add it that, oh, possibly you were freelancing during this period as a technical writer and you were transitioning from um, engineering into DevRel. So you can add that as a something like that you were freelancing during this period, you were doing XYZ at the same time transitioning. So that is one way you can add that to your resume or LinkedIn bio as well.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so to quickly add to that before we go to the next question is also doing your introduction as well. You can also chip it in because you transition from one role to another role, so you can actually tell the reason why you transition or why there was a gap. Because sometimes recruiters won't ask you, but once they see
Yeah.
the gap, they expect that you should put a filler into why that gap happened. So at least that gives them a scope. Like I said, it is a storytelling roadmap. So I put them through that journey of where you started, what you were doing, how you were doing it. Okay, there was a gap, what happened, and then what you're currently doing. Okay, so the next question is what your advice for handling salary expectations when asked?
Okay. Yeah, this is more like a very tricky one, and this is I like to see this thing as more like a dog eat dog because companies are trying to rip you off, trying to pay you as low as they can. You are trying to get as high as you can. So what I think is the way I handle this is for every job I'm applying to or for every role I'm going into an interview that I know they are going to ask me what is my salary expectation. Within myself, I already have a salary expectation that I want to earn. So I sort of like calculate like my experience and also um, the salaries that these companies are paying in other regions as well, and calculate that. So take for example, I want to apply for a job and the salary expectation, I'm coming up with a 5K salary per month as my expectation, and this company wants to pay 35. Now the funny thing about these companies is that they would first, if they want to trick you, they will first ask you like, what is your salary expectation? They want to know that how much you're looking for. The best thing to do is I usually give them a range. So range is key. So you give them a range between this and that, between a salary that you're very comfortable with receiving and a salary that, oh, is high a bit, but you'll be wild if you receive it. The idea for you to do that is to have a range of what they'll be willing to pay. Sometimes they'll tell you that, oh, this is above our range, or sometimes they'll tell you that, oh, it's within the range that we're looking to pay. And then when that conversation is there, you should then ask them that, oh, what is the budget for this role? What is the salary budget for this role? They will then give you their own range as well. They mostly will give you a range. They won't call a specific figure for you. Very few companies will call a specific figure for you. So they'll give you their own range as well. So if you feel that tallies with what you're looking for, or is even higher, you can then do that. So most times, I don't think I've had that experience where a company asked me what was my previous salary. I think I've been asked like that, a question like that in my previous interview, and I was like, I don't think it's relevant for the role currently. So you should be able to hold your ground in terms of salary because everybody is trying to like bargain the best for their own selves.
Yeah, I've also once experienced that I think twice when somebody asked me how much am I earning my first job, and I told them the value. They were like, ah, sorry, we can't pay this. So then why did you ask? So some
Exactly.
will just try to use that to
Mm.
justify maybe how much they can pay you. Sometimes some will even ask you, how old are you? To justify. And this actually
Ah.
happens to I think some US company or some Nigerian companies. They do that to justify that you are 17. Why are you asking for a salary of 3,000? What do you want to use it for?
Mm.
So it happens. Right, and
Yeah.
one of the things you can also do is when you remember when he was searching for a role, he tried to check for their revenue. So you can also use that to kind of imagine what you think they could actually pay for this particular role. And you can also look at the average salary they pay in that region, and then try to say, okay, if this is cool for you, you can either remove or add, or just stay at that particular point. So, and
Mhm.
when they ask you during the job, they can ask you, is this the best you could do, or you're open to negotiation? So that is where, and sometimes they won't even ask you. Once they see what you put, they just go with it like that. So, okay, so the next question is, are technical support jobs available internationally? So let me just take this. Yes, an
Yeah.
example is if you know WordPress, so the company behind WordPress is automatic. So automatic has a role called happiness engineer. So their happiness engineer are technical support role for people who use WordPress, people who use WooCommerce, people who use Jetpack Compose, Jetpack, all of that. So the happiness engineer are technical support, and I have a friend who work at Automatic. So it is available internationally. Also, Namecheap is also they also have a support role, and it's also available internationally. So whichever role you're looking for in tech is available internationally. So
Hmm.
don't stop.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think a very good example of that is uh, based on the technical support engineering role. So I just did a quick search right now, and just to just to show that oh, it's actually available. So it fully depends on what you're searching for. So I realized that technical support they usually add engineer. Most of the roles they add engineer to the end of it. So I just searched on liver.co, just Google search technical support engineer remote, and I can see that there's a lot of jobs popping up from here, and they're all 100% remote. And even this Kong that was hiring for a technical writer, they are also still hiring, although this is showing not found, they're also still hiring for a technical support and others as well. So I think it's mainly on the job search query that you're looking for. So sometimes it's not written as a technical support person. It might be written as a technical support engineer or a happiness engineer, like Liam said. Whatever the role is being written as, you should go through the details if it's something that you can handle. If you can handle that, then fine and good. You should be able to apply for it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, next question is how do you optimize every job application like a system built to convert? I think it's kind of straightforward. Do you understand the question?
Hmm.
How
How
do you
do you
optimize
optimize?
every job
I,
application?
I
So
I don't know if you can rephrase the question, it will make more
exactly,
sense.
exactly. So I'm trying to imagine maybe the person is trying to ask that as you're applying to different jobs, how do you now start optimizing your resume? But let the person rephrase the question, then we'll take that. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have two more. Okay, so the next one is how do I respond to recruiters or interviewers who overlook my volunteer roles or part-time gigs just because they were in formal jobs? They don't see it as a
Hmm.
professional experience.
Okay, so I think this highly boils down to how you how you were able to like how you present your volunteer roles to them at or part-time gigs to them. So I think before joining my current company, I was sort of like doing freelancing for technical writing, and at that time it was, if you should see it, it felt like, oh, it's a normal technical writing freelance. If anybody should look at it professionally, they will say, oh, this person is just freelancing and all that. But what I did was like, I sort of changed it in a way that, oh, I was freelancing for companies. They were paying me to write technical articles for them. I was getting paid. I was being reviewed, and my contents were being reviewed and published and things like that. I was following the normal technical writing process that I will follow in any company. So what I did was that I changed the title on my resume from just like, oh, freelance this thing, to a freelance content manager. That what I do is I help companies write articles for them. I manage content myself, my own content, and things like that. And so when they saw it, well, I think when I was interviewing at my current company, and when they saw it, the CEO was that, oh, I can see that you've written for various companies and all that. I was like, yes, I wrote for them and things like that. He was not angry that, oh, it's a part-time role or it doesn't feel like I have the experience. Instead, what he said was that, oh, we're looking for somebody who will work for us full time and not do part time with us. Is that something you'd be willing to consider? I said, yes, that is what I'm looking for. So I think I think what you should do is to be able to structure your part-time role or your volunteer role to show that, oh, you made impacts here, even though it was a part-time role or it was a volunteer role, you actually made impacts here, and these were the results of your impact. Remember, every HR that is looking to hire you is looking for the impact you've made. So it doesn't have to be if it's a volunteer role or if it's a part-time gig. As long as you're making impacts and the impacts are quantifiable and you are able to convince them that, oh, I'm actually good at what I do, then they'll be able to like give you a shot at that role that you're asking for.
Thank you so much. So I will also say the same. So it is how you portray that volunteer role or how you portray the part-time role that will determine the response you get. So you need to actually let them see the impact that is making to those people that are volunteering to. So imagine you are volunteering to organize, let's say, for community managers, you are volunteering to host their fest. Google don't pay you as a GDG organizer, but if you look at the impact in the ecosystem that you are making, imagine you are bringing together 5,000 people to come learn about Google technologies. So it is that impact that actually lets you let those people actually see what what's it called the value in your volunteering. So somebody from LinkedIn said impact is alienated. So you have to let them see that impact that you make, even if it is a volunteer or part time. Okay, thank you. So the next question, so we have two more. The next question is, are technical support jobs? Oh, I think we've answered this. And what is the barrier to entry? Because it seems like it's most times out of reach. Let me just say preparation meets opportunity. So, but I'll allow Jamie to do justice to that. Although we've answered the first part, the second part is what is the barrier to entry? Because it seems like it's most times out of reach.
So I mostly used to say success is when your preparation means opportunity. It's not a rocket. It's not rocket science actually. So when you're prepared for something and then the opportunity just pops up that you're really qualified for it, you go for it. So what happened is I've not worked as a technical support person before, so I can't tell you like the skills you need for a technical support person. But I'm definitely sure you know the skills you need to be a technical support person. And what you should do is be able to prepare yourself, be able to sort of like have this experience. And one way you can have experience is by having to volunteer. Volunteering is one way you can quickly gain experience. Volunteer to help other companies that are not doing that doesn't have a technical support, to help them be their technical support. And sort of like do these things to make sure that, oh, they are preparing you for a role that you can be able to take on a job. So when you try to, I'm not sure you volunteer to, you reach out to a company and you volunteer for them to be a technical support person, and they see the need for it and they'll reject you and tell you straight up that they can't. Yes, some of them will say no, but there's a high chance the company will say, oh, no problem, let's see what you can do and all that. It depends on how you're telling your story to them. So when you're prepared like that, that should give you a few experience. So that's if you don't have an experience. But if you have previous experience, what you can do is highly prepare. So there are certain questions that ideally you would want to ask a technical support engineer or somebody that is doing technical support to make sure that, oh, this person this person knows what they are doing, they are able to use this tool, and they are able to like be able to answer customers. I think technical support uh, usually involve a lot of customer facing something. How to handle customers are very angry people by default. A customer is always angry at you, so how do you handle them to make sure that they are in a very calm and respectful manner and things like that? Those are the things you need to learn about and be able to like answer them such that, oh, when you're called for an interview for a technical support job, you should be able to answer your recruiter in a manner that, oh, they will feel like, oh, this person has the experience. Even if they don't have the experience, they have the natural traits that, oh, they should be able to handle supporting customers in a very clear and good way possible. So always be prepared before applying for your jobs.
Thank you so much. Also, you know that technical support is, let me use this word, it might be funny, is a glorified customer support. So the
Yeah.
reason I call it glorified customer support is because they just added technical to it. You are still a customer support person, but they expect you to be technical. So imagine you are working for the example I used, automatic. They expect you to have a technical knowledge of WordPress, using WordPress, installing WordPress, troubleshooting WordPress. Then now what was WordPress built with PHP. So the fact that you have an understanding of PHP, you have an understanding of CSS, JavaScript, because these are what the customers might have challenge with. So as a technical support person, you should have that technical experience to help those customers. So firstly, you need to be grounded with customer support skills, then the technical side. Then if you bring them together, they become technical support person. So I remember there was a time, I think 2 years ago, I reached out to a friend, Suleiman. He founded a company then. I think it was about forgotten the name of the product, but it's around this pay bills and all of that. So I said, let me be your support person. He was like, okay. He was think about it, then get back to me. Now I told him that I just want to volunteer to be his technical support person remotely. And now look at that. If he said yes, then I will just join his company as technical support person, and that is an experience. So it is that experience that you could actually put on your resume that you've done this thing for somebody before, and this are the impact, the number of tickets you closed, the time to closing a response. Maybe you do it via email, you do it via chat, or you do it via call. So whichever way it comes, so that shows that you've actually done it before. Um, okay, so the person that asked the question before, we phrase the question. So the question is, how do you structure your job applications to consistently turn into interviews like a performing system? We can't hear you. It seems you are mute.
Sorry. Oh. So most likely you're talking about like your resume itself, not the job application, because you can't turn the job application itself, but you can turn your resume. So and optimize you first. You need to optimize your resume. It starts from your resume. So having a very optimized resume is what will help you. So an optimized resume will look like something that has a summary of your career so far first, and then followed by your professional experience, and each of those professional experience should have sort of like an impact of what you've done in the past, how you improved their systems by how many percent, how much did you help the company save, or how did you improve performance or efficiency, whatever you're improving, it should be measured by impact. You should have that, and then you should also have like a skill set. Education is not required, but you can add that to your resume. So, and also most importantly, an easy way for them to contact you by just clicking a link, and also a link to your previous jobs, your portfolio, whatever you want to have in your resume. So having a very solid resume like that, that is ATS friendly as well, will sort of like help you to do that. So when applying for jobs, companies usually ask some extra questions aside from just requesting for a resume. They ask some extra questions. Some of these questions are not just to for you to apply. Some of them have actually been to tell us the story of how you fixed something in the past and all that. The idea of those questions is for them to see how you think. Every I think every interview I've been to where it has been a technical interview, they've not been about the problem you're solving, but instead for the company to see how you think. So answering those questions will sort of like mean doing it in a way to show your thought process, to make sure that you're somebody who, when you encounter a problem, you think of it, you break it down, and then you try to solve it one step after the other. So optimize your resume, try to answer the questions to the best of your ability, and then put in your application as well. So, for example, if the company is using an ATS system, you should have a resume that is ATS compatible, because the ATS platform is what will be the first thing to filter your resume and to show that it's either you're a beginner or you're an advanced level engineer, to show if you should be accepted or not. So ensure ensure that you are trying to like make that impression that you're actually good at what you do and things like that, and then most likely you'll get an interview.
All right, thank you. And also, don't use the same resume to apply for all the jobs. So that is why job hunting is the reason
Mm.
why we call it bombing, because it's a job on its own. So
Yeah, it's
if
a
you're applying
job.
to 10 jobs in a day, that those 10 jobs can use different resume, because most of them, all the 10 jobs will have different expectations, and they will have different keywords that is expected of you. Some will say use this word, or use this, say this, or say
Mm.
that. So look at the requirements and use that to refine your resume while applying to jobs. So you don't use that same resume to apply for multiple jobs. So different
Yeah.
resume for different jobs. So it looks like a work, but it is worth it. Because at the end of the day, the essence of you applying to job is to get an interview and then get into the job. So take the stress, right, and let it bring you fruitfulness. Okay, so the final question is from LinkedIn. It says, so now, how is it best to be impactful as a software developer? Before
Mm.
you do that, I there was this friend of mine. We call him Web Wiz. That is Web Wizard. So he posted something that was like 3 or 4 years ago. He said, um, Okay, no, I think it was Abdul Kudus. So he said, I'm very glad that my job is being used, my app is being used by over 10,000 people. It's no, not 10,000 people, like over 50K people globally. Now that's an impact because if 50K people use your app and it's not breaking, then it means what you cooked
Mm,
is a servable meal, right? So
mm,
that is one thing. Okay, so
mm.
you can take it, Jamie.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, how best is it to be impactful? How how is it best to be impactful? So, if I get this question correctly, it means how can I be an impactful engineer where I work? Is that am I correct? Okay, so there are various ways you can do that. So one of them is like when you're working as an engineer for a company for a team, you will usually either ship a feature or it's either you're shipping a new feature or you're trying to maintain an existing one or improve an existing one. So I think being impactful sort of like mean you taking responsibility for features like that or for things like that to make sure that they're working as effectively as possible. So there's one thing you should think as an engineer when trying to make impact is that um, don't think about the code itself. Think about the impact it will make on your users. So when you start thinking for the users, you start looking for ways to create impactful contributions to your team. So such that, take for example, you guys are trying to implement a new A/B testing feature, a new A/B testing feature for your company or for your product, and then you are responsible for implementing one of the variants of those feature. Now, think like a user, think like an engineer as well, and try to look for the best way you can sort of like create that feature that it will really be profitable for those that are using it and see how it can benefit them. So when you start considering how you can like benefit the end products, how you can make the product better, not just as an engineer, but also as somebody who wants to make sure that people are enjoying the product or people are really using the product, you then start contributing in a way that it's not just the tech that you're contributing for. Instead, you're contributing for the product to be better. And once you start contributing for a product to be better, there's always impact. Impact always comes behind it. For example, if you implemented the A/B testing and the findings was that the one you implemented yielded more result and users prefer that more, you then start seeing a very different funnel for users channeling into that A/B testing variant, and then they start using it. That has increased like the user base and everything like that. So you've sort of like created an impact in terms of like you've introduced a new way for users to actually use the product, and this has increased the number of users that you guys are getting. But then you shouldn't be thinking that, oh, I'm paid to do this tax. I should just do this tax and go away. It's not like that. You won't make any impact if that is how you think about your job. You should be thinking about, oh, this is the tax I'm working on. This is what we're building. How can we make this in the best way possible such that our users can enjoy it and it will really help them to do what they are doing with our platform better, and it will encourage them. Trust me, everybody will notice that you are seeking to make that kind of impact, and they will all support you when you are doing that because they will see that you are working towards the product to make it better for people to use, and they will actually commend you and everything like that.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll reach out to the Association of Recruiters globally to start serving refreshment to do interviews. So we'll reach out to them and um, take your plea to them because sometimes you might even go 6 rounds of interview and at the end of the day you will still get rejection. I think it was Shady that posted that last week on okay this week on X. He said um the most painful interview he had was he went through 6 rounds and at the end of the 6 round they gave him we are sorry. So many of us have experienced that. We will go to 3 rounds, 4 rounds, 5 rounds, 6 rounds, and in each of these rounds, you'll be getting hopeful responses that don't worry, just for you to wake up in the morning or maybe you want to go and eat yourself in the middle of the night, then you just saw a notification. We are sorry. So it happens. So right. So but I think there are some companies who pay you when they give you take home. they will tell you that this take home should be done under 3 hours, and they pay you for that 3 hours. And one of them is automatic. So if automatic give you, so okay.
Just want to ask if people should direct me to this company. Don't worry, I'm writing their names down. Continue, continue.
So automatic has, I think, 3 stages or 4 stages. The last time I got to, I think, the third or the second, I've forgotten. So the first stage is doing the application. So when you scale through, you go to the second stage, which is answering a technical question. So from a technical question, if you move, you then go to the third round. So the third round is a paid one. So they will ask you to come and shadow, more like do as if you have been employed. So you add it to the Slack channel. So you will act as a happiness engineer, more like a technical support person. I think a week, and they say every, is that a week or 3 days? I've forgotten or they've structured it. So and every day they pay you. I think the role is around $50 per hour. So they will give you, I think, $20 or $25 per hour. So and they expect you to do 5 hours for that week. I think it's 5 hours, which means they will pay you for that 5 hours. So that is 25 times 5. That's how much they will pay you. And if you scale through, you pass, then the next thing you will see is welcome to automatic. You have the offer call and all of that. But even though you don't get it, so far you did that, they will pay you for that hours you did with them. And they're not the only one. A lot of company pay you to do take home, and some don't. So the way I always answer people about take home is that if your mind to make you do them, because there's some take home that it is like you being on the job. They can ask you to build a full application for take home. But if you feel this is not what you can do, just walk away. So while we close the session, so Precious said, I've been thinking about this a lot. So people do say that companies pay for people so they can help them make more money. So how is it possible for a software developer to help the company make more money? So one thing as a business owner is that every business are there to make profits. So if they're not making profits, maybe they will change their company to an NGO, and or they will change it to maybe a different thing. But every business that exists, they exist because they want to make a profit. So to make more profits, they need people who can enable that profit. And I have somebody says that if a company pay you 250K, it means that you are making 2.5 million for them. So they are paying you a percentage of what they are making. So every company that hires you, you are helping them to make more money, because what you are building, it can be a service that enable the revenue, and it can be what actually brings the money. So depending on the company. So your role is helping that company make more money. So if it doesn't make them more money, they will lay you off. So that's just on my side. I don't know if Jamin has an input there.
Not really. I think you covered it very well. So I think there's something called um, cost per head and revenue per head in every company. So for every revenue that the company generates, it's being divided by the number of people in that company and also by their role and how much they are generating. So when you are hired and you're being paid a 5K per month salary, there's a high chance that it has been projected that you are generating 100K per month for that company. So your role will be to enable that money stream to keep coming for the company. So that is what it means when they say you're hired to help the company make more money. For example, as a software engineer, you are hired to help build the platform. Maybe the company wants to launch a new feature where they want to like increase their revenue stream. They want to introduce a new feature to their audience to make sure that, oh, these people pay more. Your role as a software engineer will be to work on this feature and to make sure that, oh, you're creating this new feature for them to generate that money. So every business, as Liam said, is there to make money, and so every employee is there to generate revenue for that company. If you are not doing that, then they will let go of you. It's as simple as that. So everybody is there to sort of like push the company forward.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think last week, it was this week that the senior person of Google laid people off. So the best, the person who got the employee of the year last year got laid off in the thing. I think the head of AI, be the head of machine learning, the lead machine learning engineer, person who
Yeah, the head
leads
of
the
AI.
department, got laid off. So once the business doesn't see the impact or doesn't see a need for that department, when the hiring freeze or the laying off game starts, the department will be the first to be impacted. So the thing you need to do is that any company you work, make sure that you are indisposable. Is that the right word? You are
Yeah,
indisposable in the sense that you can operate in different departments and you will do excellent. So, for instance, let's take our role as an example. It is developer advocate. So, it is more like you also being a marketing person, but in a more uh, higher position and a strategic point of view. So you could function as a technical writer. You could function as somebody who represents the company at conferences. You could function as somebody who create demo, help people build on what the company is building with. You can also function as a person who is bringing more value to the company by bringing in more people through all those things. So, but when it got to a point that they could not actually see the value that you're bringing to the company, they start asking themselves, why are we even paying this person? I think we don't need this person because there's no reward or their ROI is not making numbers. So there's no return on their investment because every company that hires you, they invested in that role. So they need a return on that investment they made. So that is why you are still there. So the day they no longer see their return on their investment on the role, they try to end a particular role. So be indisposable, making sure that you are very valuable to the company. So if you are this, make sure that you can also provide other things. So it's not maybe you are doing too much, but you're just trying to make sure that you keep yourself on the road. So thank you so much, Jamie, and we really appreciate your time with us. We learned a lot in this session. It was 1 hour, but we stretched over the hour. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on LinkedIn, for joining us on Facebook, and for joining us on YouTube at the same time. We really appreciate you.